Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm just checking. Hello, everybody. I'm checking that we are live. It is showing on livestream. I want to make sure that I am able to see you live on LinkedIn. Looks like I'm live. We are in business. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Sudha Jamte, and this is SudhaLive. As a backup, I'm going to record here also. I'm Sudha Jamte. I'm joining you here from Silicon Valley. And last week at this time, I was actually streaming right out of an airport. I was on the move back home. So thank you for everybody who's joining me end of the week here in Silicon Valley. And for those of you who are joining from Europe, especially it's beginning of your weekend. So I appreciate the time you're spending to talk to me. So you might be watching this on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. Typically, I watch live on LinkedIn and I will answer your questions and I will respond to you if you have anything that you're asking me right now related to the topics we are talking about. So I'm going to be talking about AI opportunities. That's what I do. I'm a technology futurist right here. And I try to keep my work as global as possible and as diverse as possible. So I appreciate your input, comments, questions to keep us grounded. And I come from a background where I've spent all my time in life in technology industry, and I've been a product manager. I've been a head of analytics at eBay. So I love data. A lot of opinions about it. Recently, I've been teaching a lot on AI and AI ethics at Barcelona Technology School and Stanford Continuing Studies. And I have very rare, unique courses at Business School of AI. So I'm kind of in this mode where I finish up my Stanford class, then I finished up my Barcelona Technology classes, and now I'm building out my courses on the next set of courses. So my next immediate course is going to come up on LinkedIn Live. I've not actually put that out, so you're hearing it for the first time. And as the courses go live, I will be sharing with you. Specifically, I've worked on one course on no-code AI, again for product and business managers. That's my typical audience. And I'll let you know when it goes live. And I've been focused on language AI models. As a technology futurist, I'm always looking what is the next big thing. And then I wear all my business hat and experience of what I've seen in the past of technology waves go up and down. And I look at it and say, is this real? And my definition of it is real from what I've seen from the past is, if it is real, it will create entrepreneurial opportunities, it will create business opportunities, and it will create real jobs. And the way technology works is some technologists come up with technology and it gets productized. You could be an entrepreneur who teams up with somebody else, but it gets built, right? Typically tech gets built, and then it is productized, it's launched, it's marketed. And the Silicon Valley style is like we are constantly iterating. So it's not a done product, we throw it out at the market, and then we kind of get feedback, and then we said, oh, this is not what it should be, and then we kind of go off and build something else, or we iterate. So that test and learn is happening very live. So that's kind of my programming too. So that's how I think about things. But if you hear about a new technology, if you zoom out, and I'm a futurist, I'm like mentally living out 5 years out, and I'm thinking about it saying, is this going to be viable? Today, I'm saying, hey, this is the big thing. 5 years out, you can still talk to me. I've been doing my, this particular live stream, I started out a year's time back or less than a year's time back, but I've been doing live streams on, and which is weekly Wednesday on my YouTube for more than 6 years, continuously on Wednesday mornings. And so you can see my opinions, and I do a lot of events and stuff, and I have this compulsive need to stream and share. So you can see what I was talking about. You can see my blog and writing. So I don't want to be talking about something out there, which I don't believe is going to take you on a career pivot into entrepreneurial opportunities and into your job. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about. So the way I do this is I will start with, happy news on people who inspire me and I want to congratulate. So, and for those of you who are new, all the links that I will be sharing here, I will post up on LinkedIn. And if you have questions, I'll answer on LinkedIn. I'll come back and post some of them back, the important ones on Twitter. I usually don't post back on my YouTube. So unless you're watching me only on YouTube and you add a comment, maybe I will focus on the channel, but right now I'm kind of streaming it to the channel to my followers on YouTube. But every link that I'm sharing here, I'll put it on my newsletter, Jamte newsletter that goes out on Sunday morning. So let me go there, because last week I had more that I wanted to share. Here, let me go there. So it is bit.ly. Do you see the link here? bit.ly/Jamte newsletter. So everything that is shared here, whether you're coming back and watching later, it doesn't matter. It's going to be here. And each Sunday, my newsletter goes out. So you could just, bookmark bit.ly/Jamte newsletter and come and read it, or you can subscribe and you'll get your email, or you can see the past issues. So that's me from the airport. I did that from San Francisco airport. I'm so happy with the background because it was so noisy. I was looking for something that it is, I don't want everybody else in the picture. And this is like a screen grab from the video I did with you guys. Okay, so the SudhaLive recording will also show up here on my newsletter. So if you want to go back, watch that. So Dr. Tiago Felipe Avanci interviewed Divya Dwivedi for a two-part series we completed last week on AI and law. They talked about, foundation of AI law and, how to think about it across countries. And specifically, I was interested in the EU AI Act, which is in a draft mode. And Spain has been the first country which has launched a sandbox for lawyers to test it out. So I'm curious of what a sandbox for lawyers looks like, because I know what a sandbox for a technology product looks like. And Dr. Tiago Felipe announced his new book about the future of law. So congratulations, Dr. Tiago. These are a couple different congratulations that I didn't share, so I want to come back and share, but it's never late to congratulate somebody who inspires you on an amazing job. This is Kathleen Siminu, and she's at Mozilla Foundation, and she made it to the MIT Tech Review 35 under 35. So you can see her work when you go and look at my newsletter. Congratulations to Tiffany Tong and Sonika Manandar of Alai Kannada on microfinancing women-led green economy startup. This is an amazing story. She shared this on LinkedIn about how this is her with her grandmother, and there's an inspiring story of why she focused on green economy and microfinancing. So this is a microfinancing story which goes through 2 generations of this entrepreneur's motivation. So congratulations, Tiffany Tong and Sonika Mananda. This is Tiffany's grandmother. Okay. And you might remember Ebonic Boyd, who was our speaker at Weekly Wednesday, and she's this patent expert, and she's a mentor at Women in AI. So I thought I should congratulate her, because we were talking about Women in AI coming up, launching their whole program for this year. And Ebonic is a mentor, and I believe Susanna Raj, our instructor from Business School of AI and AI ethicist, she's also a mentor in this world. I don't know how many other things Susanna Raj does, but maybe I'm talking to her clone, but she's a Women in AI mentor too. Okay, so I have another person that I want to congratulate. I'm so excited about this because this is very dear to me. This is a person that we meet on a weekly basis at Weekly Wednesday. Let me bring up that picture. I asked her to share a picture. So I'm going to share the picture with you. Let me share my screen back. Yes, thank you for the reminder. I'm not sharing the screen. That's intentional. So here is Yashashwini Vishwanath, our own Yash, our Weekly Wed host. Weekly Wed is our weekly global speaker series, for those of you who are watching this new. And Yash hosts this with so much energy and gets the best out of every single speaker. And for 2 weeks, we didn't have Yash. We had other experts come in and speak and interview our speakers, because Yash was at this program. ACM has an ACM women segment, and they decided to find 20 women from each country across many, many countries and host a program, more like an offsite on AI research. And Yash was one of the 20 people from India. And she went to this college called PSG Technology College in Coimbatore in India, where they had an offsite for 2 weeks, immersed with AI research and AI education from top AI educators of India for 2 weeks. So, we'll hear all about it when Yash is back. And though I don't know the other people, I just think that 20 women who got selected to this and went through this program all deserve this congratulation. So this is the future top AI researchers coming out from India. So congratulations, everybody. I hope to get to see your work and cheer for you, and hope you'll come and share some of your amazing work with us at Weekly Wednesday. Congratulations. Let me see if I have anything else in that segment. Yes, there is one more. Let me see. So the UN Capital Development announced the 11 fintechs that have been selected for the upcoming Pacific Islands Fintech Innovation Challenge in Singapore. That's happening end of this month from 27 to 29. Again, this was shared by Tiffany Tong. So let me show you that list. So this is unlocking public and private finance for the poor. That's what is UNCDF, uncdf.org. And here are 11 fintechs that they've identified, that is startups working in fintech innovation, and they had a challenge in Singapore. Here they are. These are the finalists. These are the different companies' names. And this is happening in Singapore, but this is the Pacific Islands. So we have people from Australia, Malaysia, Philippines, Fiji, Sri Lanka, there's more Australia, Samoa, and Singapore. So the way they've organized, I liked how instead of just naming some startups, and Tonga and Samoa. So what they did is they basically said improving access to financial products and services, and they have listed the companies and from where they are coming from. So, and this is the second problem. This is the first problem statement. The second, so they had it based on different problem statements. So the second problem statement was digitizing customer service, which brings us back to our recent world that I'm focusing on language AI and where we are going in a very futuristic way. So I would like to see how they're digitizing it. There is a lot more. So there is direct pay and IT collect solutions there. The increasing usage of financial products and services, Solomon Island. And so this is a Netherlands/India team, and then there is an Australia team. There's a lot of teams from Australia. Time zone wise, maybe this time we will, maybe somebody from Australia who's watching, or somebody who knows somebody from Australia who can invite people here. Most of my work that I'm doing in the morning in US, which is my Weekly Wednesday and other talks and stuff, my classes end up being in morning time. So I miss out on these amazing people from Australia. I would bring them here as a guest to talk here at SudhaLive. Occasionally, rarely I bring guests, but if you're watching and you are from Australia and you're working on something amazing, you're one of these companies or some other country, I would be happy to have you here. So hope you'll be able to connect back with us. So our goal here is to bring as much diversity as possible into opportunities that is happening in the AI world. Okay, so that is all the congratulations of people who inspired me that I have shared. The other thing I've been working on is this week there has been, there was, let me go back to that. There was a Senate hearing in US. Before that, I want to tell you about the MIT is opening up some books for us. Let me finish up with that before I go to the Senate hearing one. So 2 topics I'll be covering. And if you see, I'm kind of going, which should I cover first? So 2 topics I'm covering is I teach AI. So I talk about how to build AI, understand the latest technologies, and I don't want anybody to be limited by anything. So if you code it, you don't code, it doesn't matter. If you're coming from any part of the world, if you have access or if you have the experience, it doesn't matter. And AI is built by everybody because it impacts everybody, and the diversity is what makes it click. And so I focus on, and I teach those topics, but I also teach AI ethics, because the lack of diversity or not doing this right is going to hurt all of us. And so I focus on inclusive AI. So that is one of my work area, research area, and I teach and I talk about that. The other thing is, since I'm a futurist, I'm looking at the latest trends of where we are going, and language AI is where the latest wave is, and I'm focusing on it. And whatever I focus on, I tend to work on it. I need to talk about it, and I tend to write about it, and I tend to teach about it and do research about it. So that's where I'm. So I've launched the Global South in AI at NeurIPS, and the call for paper for that is open. So this Wednesday at Weekly Wednesday, I'm going to be there to talk to you as a webinar to tell you about language models, what is Global South in AI, and about this call for paper. So if you're seeing that, let me show you the site for that. If you're seeing that and you wonder, what is this thing? Why, am I eligible to participate? Why she keep talking about this? This is NeurIPS is an amazing conference that happens once a year. And this year it is in New Orleans in US. And Global South in AI, this is not related to any of my other, Stanford affiliation or my Business School of AI or Barcelona Technology School or LinkedIn Learning or Business School of AI. This is my newest thing. I teach in all those other places. This one is a nonprofit, and I am here as a program chair along with these amazing women, Susanna Raj, Yashashwin Vishwanath, Pariyasaran, and yours truly. And we are the program chairs, and we've opened a call for papers. So we got accepted to publish, to bring a team of people to present posters about language AI, language models, or something related to voice or data at related to bringing diversity to language models at NeurIPS. So it's a social affinity group. So you can read all about it. And the URL is globalsouthinai.org. Okay. And there's a call for paper that's open. So when you come here and you click, so go to globalsouthinai.org and you say, I want to submit an abstract, looks interesting. It's a 250 words abstract. And this is double blind peer reviewed, which means your name and everything doesn't go to the reviewers and you don't see who the reviewers, and we have this amazing world-class reviewers who review other papers in other conferences and who are working in research in this language AI world. And once you get the acceptance, so you can submit here, it will take you to open review, which is a outside management system for accepting papers, and you can go in and make a submission. Okay, so let me stop and share the screen back again. So you can submit an abstract 250 words by July 31st, and you'll get an acceptance by August 16th. Anybody who gets an acceptance will be invited to the Global South in AI meetup online on September 10th. This will be a 3-hour Zoom session, remote. Anybody can join in, and you will get invited if you've submitted an abstract that has been accepted. And if you've never published research, I have a research 101 session on how to take your idea and make it into a poster and publish a poster, because we just want poster. Poster is a smaller version, a succinct version summarizing what your paper is about. You could build a paper and publish in a different place, but we are not asking for a paper because that will take many, many months. We want to do this in a timely way so that those of you who would be coming to NeurIPS to present live, and 5 of these posters will be accepted to be presenting live at NeurIPS. Again, if you can't come and you want to do it remote, we have the hybrid option. But if you can come in person, you would need to apply for a US visa. So that's why we want to make sure that we get you all the support papers and everything by September 10th. So, and then you can go on from there and build out your poster, because we'll give you guidance for that. We will assign mentors to follow up and may help you make that happen. So if you're totally new to research, Don't worry, it's a piece of cake. We are going to help you. If you are passionate about bringing language from other language models other than what's out there today, and you're working on it. For example, Aisha Tugodape is a student of mine. She wanted to bring Hausa language into AI, and Hausa language was not intuitively available in AI when she started taking my class. And then she found out the challenge was in collecting data to train the AI to build that data set for it. And so there are people who are building language models on top of GPT-3. There is open APIs for language models. So I'll teach you a little bit about language models. So this Wednesday at Weekly Wednesday, I'm going to talk to you about this. I'm going to talk to you, and I'm the program chair, so I can't hear your idea. I can have an opinion. I should not know you're submitting. I can't talk to you about it. But we will have mentors who can help you. If you have questions about, what kind of things can I submit, what's involved, I can tell you about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to host a webinar on at Weekly Wednesday, which is Wednesday, 9 o'clock Silicon Valley time, 12 o'clock in East Coast time in US, and 1 p.m. in Brazil, 18-hour in Nigeria and Europe. And I'll be there, run a webinar on language models, on foundation language AI, and I'll tell you about Global South in AI and this call for paper. Come ask your questions, and then hopefully you'll be able to go ahead and make your abstract submission. Yeah. Okay, so that's the plan. So what happened this last Weekly Wednesday? So 2 topics I usually cover in this, as I'll share all kinds of jobs and opportunities in the AI world openly, and I won't limit it to anything. But my work is on language AI, which is what I'm focused on right now. And I teach and write and talk and do research on inclusive AI, which is AI ethics. So those are the 2 topics that I will be covering typically in these sessions. Let me see if I have anything else that I'm missing. I usually have notes that I do not want to miss out on. That's what I'm looking at. The other thing that happened this week is I teach at Barcelona Technology School. I teach for 4 different master's programs. I'm so proud of all my students anywhere and everywhere. And I kind of, make it a living of just, talking about their work and bragging about how amazing they are. So Barcelona Technology School had their graduation. And I want to show you a little video of these amazing students. They put it out on YouTube. I wish I could have been there in person. Yourself, the head of BTS in brain and visionary. I see my colleagues, fellow professors at BTS. Diversity of students from every possible country, and they had it hybrid, so that they could join live for the classes live, or they could in Barcelona they could join live, or they could join remote live using Zoom. And this is masters. These are students for masters in big data. You can see them live. So proud of them. So this is Masters in Big Data and AI Solutions. That's this set of students they're showing subset. So this is Digital Transformation Leadership was one Masters we saw. Masters in Big Data and AI Solutions. So such brilliant people. And they are people with experience to make it their calling to come. This Daria is helping us with everything at the school. Hi, Carolina Guzman. Carolina Guzman, we've seen her already. This is the master's in product management. Master's in digital product management. Where's my UX design, UX experience? Yes. Yeah, getting on. Power. This is master's in user experience design. Amazing. Congratulations. Every one of them are going to change the world. They're deliberately going for an education, till you have experience, deciding what area to focus on. I mean, there was AI in everything, but they all put it. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to skip the party part. So I've been in this big congratulatory mode today. So let me switch gears. So I already told you about the weekly web that we're going to do, that I'm going to come talk to you about the Global South in AI and language models. So the other thing I want to tell you about is the weekly web that happened last week. We had a topic on cybersecurity in AI. And I have to tell you a very interesting story that happened just before we went live. So the speaker was Pamela Gupta, and she's a world famous cybersecurity expert. She advises the US government, and she is on the NIST standards advisory. And we had invited Mirko Ras, who is an identity expert, an entrepreneur from Germany, to interview. So this was amazing. Like we had the previous week with Divya Dwivedi, interviewed by Dr. Tiago Felipe Avanci. This was like a power team talking about cybersecurity in AI and identity. So I was planning, my only question to them was to help me understand what is identity relative to cybersecurity. And one funny thing, not so funny thing, maybe happened before we went live. So we use Zoom and as a host account, and then we invite our students to join us on Zoom. So we have a handful selected set of people who are there on Zoom who can ask questions live. And then we stream this like this on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And so we are all the people. And the way I'd set up the Zoom was, sometimes in Zoom, you go in and then the host has to let you in one by one, and there's a waiting room. I don't have that. So I want my students to be able to interact and talk to each other even when I'm not in the room. So I set up the host Zoom account, and then everybody just comes in and they're all chatting with each other. And then Yash is the host. She comes in and then she basically, invites the speakers, the guests. Sometimes we give them host access, and then Yash does the recording. And for doing the live stream, we have to do it from Zoom, and it goes other places, but that's all done with host access. So why am I saying all this? We're ready to go live. Everybody showed up, and they were having, so we go live on Wednesday around 18-hour Europe, I was telling you about, right? 9 a.m. here in Silicon Valley. And so we open about half an hour before. And what happened was, Yash is out at our ACM Women event where she's on this offsite. And so when she tried to log in, it said, hey, you're logging from a new device. And it thought the password was incorrect. And after a couple attempts, it logged her out. So when you log in using passwords, various places, you must be facing this. I do this all the time. And it says, no, you have logged in again from a different device. Validate this. We'll send you a two-step authentication, or send a code to another email that is associated with this account. There's all these checks and balance to make sure you're the right person who is logging in. And sometimes if you don't get the right password, or if you don't get the code, then that device is logged up. So if I'm used to logging in from one laptop and I try to do it from my mobile or vice versa,
It will lock up that particular device. I cannot go in. The assumption is I am the hacker from somewhere else who's trying to log in till I give in the right password. And a lot of people who forget passwords, forget the previous email account, the passwords to the email account. It's just a mess. So we kind of, are unable to log into some accounts, right? That is very legitimate. So if you're a product manager thinking about the experience you're creating, you're thinking about, hey, there is a persona of my user who's trying to log in, and there's a persona who is a hacker who's trying to log in. I need to let the user in. I need to stop the hacker. That is a cybersecurity design challenge for product management. And that's what all the other products, tech products, do that. What happened with Zoom was Yash was trying to log in from a device from a different location because she's not usually from that location. So some AI spotted it and said, anomaly, we can't let her in, and they locked the account. That was very legit, and that was a good cybersecurity decision. I go in, I try to log in. I was traveling, and so I was also on a different location, but I logged in from my usual place and it on my device, and it said, nope, too many attempts to log in. This account has already happened. I had the password. I could just log in. I had the right password and everything. It logged up the entire Zoom account. So here we were supposed to, so it did not, it just assumed. So what happens now if some company is going live and you happen to understand the login from where they will go to Zoom, can any hacker just go in, make an attempt and log in the account? That is wrong design on the part of Zoom. So if somebody from Zoom or friends of Zoom are watching, please fix this. Stop the hacker, but not the user. And so in this case, it assumed the first person who did not get the password right many times is the hacker and locked their account, locked them from logging in from their device. That was fine. But when I tried to log in as a legitimate admin, it locked me out. So we had a very interesting exercise. What happened with that was we had Pamela Gupta, our speaker. We had Mirko Ross, who was going to interview her. We had Yash, our host. We had a team full of people, room full of people who were all attending that on Zoom. Everybody was there, but there was no host. So we had a fun discussion. But what we ended up doing is we could not live stream to you guys. That we always do. So Mirko said, hey, let me see whether I can do a recording of this onto my computer. And we gave him permission and said, hey, it's okay. We all in the room give you permission to record because it becomes a GDPR compliance issue. If he's just recording some session like a screen grab, which is what he had to do. So thankfully, Mirko Ross was able to record it. And we've got the recording for you guys. It was such a fun discussion. And these are cybersecurity experts. So it was, we barely scratched the surface. By the time it becomes 10 o'clock, we are like so sad that we have to close the room. So that's what we did. So I'm going to set it up to stream cybersecurity in AI and identity, discussion by Pamela Gupta, interviewed by Mirko Ross, to go live tomorrow, Saturday, same time as Wednesday, right? 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock East Coast time, 1 p.m. Brazil, 18-hour Europe and Nigeria. So tomorrow morning, Saturday, I'll set it to stream. So those of you who missed it can watch it. And before I close the topic, one important thing I want to tell you is there is something called FIDO Alliance. I don't know if it's pronounced as FIDO or FIDO. It's FIDO. It's an acronym, right? So let me find that. It's an open industry association, which was launched in Feb 2013. And it basically said, hey, let's develop a authentication standard, right? That will make the world more passwordless. That was the idea. Wordless. I'm going to find that for you. There's so many other people who say, as soon as you say passwordless, there's so many other people showing up. I'm trying to find the press release because this has been around in 2013. They've been working on this as an open standard, but this made news because a whole bunch of tech companies decided to join the alliance. And we are using the login from Apple phone, from Google phone. Facebook has not joined that. Microsoft has joined them. So Apple, Google, and Microsoft have committed to expand support for the FIDO standard. And if it is not FIDO and FIDO, somebody correct me, tell me how it is to be pronounced. I'm just going to call it FIDO. So FIDO standard to accelerate availability of passwordless sign-in. What does that mean? The thing we went through with Zoom where we forgot our password, we could not log in, would not happen in this FIDO world. So what does that mean? If you don't do password, if you do passwordless sign-in, that means it will be using biometrics, facial recognition, two-step authentication on phones, and a whole bunch of options. So it won't be one option. And this common passwordless sign-in standard has been created by the FIDO Alliance and the World Wide Web Consortium. This will allow websites and apps to offer consistent, secure, and easy passwordless and sign-ins across devices and platforms. So, and the fact that Zoom blocked us means that they're trying to go on the extreme on avoiding hackers to come and hack Zoom sessions. So I appreciate not having to face such a hacker, but it was pretty inconvenient. So I hope Zoom will join this standard to make it passwordless so that we can have a seamless experience. So if you're a product manager from Zoom or friend of Zoom, I'm happy to talk to you. And I'm sure you have your reasoning of how you're thinking about your design, or maybe you should talk to the FIDO Alliance and figure out if that's the right experience for us, your customers. So the ironic timing is we were going to talk about this FIDO Alliance and the identity and what it means. And Mirko Ross also is the person who introduced me to this whole concept of identity and how it is important, because what is identity in the tech world means, which is how you log in, how they identify you. And when you log in, then they know who you are. That means they can track you for a lot of things. So there's a privacy on one end, and then there's a security on the other end. Like Zoom tried to, I don't know, my camera is kind of zooming in and out. I'm not even touching anything, guys. I'm sorry about that. So on one end, you have the security, and they don't want to be hacked. Nobody wants to be hacked. We don't want a Zoom hacker showing up. So Zoom is trying to stop the hacker, but in the process, they inconvenience me, the customer. On the other end, when I log in and say, yes, I will just let you log in using my Facebook account or Twitter account or LinkedIn account, then I'm giving too much information. Or even with Google, and they can track my location and whatnot. So there's a lot more information. So how do you do the privacy preserving? So Mirko Ross has a startup, and he's been one of the pioneers in creating this identity login using blockchain on the cloud, so that you're not tied to any one technology platform company. So you should check out Mirko Ross's work. And I'm going to set this to stream, the interview between Pamela Gupta and Mirko Ross on cybersecurity and AI and identity for tomorrow morning. So I will share the link also here. Okay. And I will share that link back on the newsletter at bit.ly/Jante newsletter. Other than that, there's a bunch of jobs. AV has a whole bunch of has a AV job. They want to build autonomous vehicles for Chicago, and so I'm going to share that. Remember KiwiBot? We worked with KiwiBot last fall at Business School of AI as I was teaching this course as data science for product and business managers. And we had KiwiBot as a business partner to do the live lab. So we work with a company, work with their data and business problem, and their people will come in as the business people for us to engage to learn how AI is built in industry. And so we did that with KiwiBot, and KiwiBot raised a lot of money, and they're building KiwiBots, which is an autonomous vehicle for food delivery. And they've been building so many of the KiwiBots, so they are hiring very fast, and so there's a lot of jobs at KiwiBot. So that's something I'm going to share. And there's a lot more jobs that showed up, so I won't be able to do justice to that here. So I will come back and put all of that in the newsletter for you. Okay. Before I close out, there was one interesting thing from MIT. I said that and went away from the topic, so I'm going to find that. But there's one last job. I just got a ping from somebody about a job. Let me find that. Give me a minute. This one newest one. I was not prepared with this link because this is something that just came my way. It's a remote job opportunity as a voice UX designer at Google. And here's the job descriptions: 4+ years experience in conversational design. And then they're saying these are audio skills and stuff is useful but not a required skill. And it's a very interesting description. I've shared voice UI and voice AI jobs from Amazon in the past, and I don't have an affiliation with any of these companies, but this was interesting when liaising with studio managers to arrange recording sessions, coaching voice actors, creating detailed dialogue design specification for voice bot, chat bots, cross-channel interaction. It's a very interesting kind of job. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. I was not sharing the screen. So this is the one. It says 4-year experience and liaising with studio managers, managing audio engineers, coaching voice actors for sample dialogue, creating detailed dialogue design specification for voice bot, chat bot, and cross-channel interaction. So, and it's asking only for 4 years experience. So I find that pretty interesting. So I can connect you with the recruiter. It looks like a Google subsidiary called Vaco, if I remember right. So I'm happy to connect you if that's of interest to you. So let me know, and I'll put all of these jobs in the bit.ly/Jamte newsletter. That's my newsletter that will go out on Sunday. So before I close out, there is another interesting opportunity. You usually talk about jobs and call for papers and research and fellowships and the like in here. There's a lot of language models that I'm tracking. So if you're working in that space, I would like you to talk to me. I am going to do a language AI intro and on foundation models, and then do the, what is Global South in AI this weekly Wednesday. So I would love to hear from you. That's top of mind for me. But outside of that, here I found so let me go back, share again, and then I'm going to wrap up. Okay. So this is Roberto Di Alessandro, who's a professor of linguistics, syntax and language variation at University of Utrecht. And she shared, hey, I'm not following the professor, I should follow her. So she shared a breaking news from MIT Press. They've opened access to their books, and it turns out they came back and corrected, and they said, we are sharing only for 80 open access books, not all the 3,800 books, but that's still a decent number. And so you go to I'll share the link again for this, guys, direct.mit.edu/books. And in here, you select open access, and then you'll find all the books they're making freely available. It's 7 o'clock. My automated vacuum cleaner is getting out, and it's a reminder. So I'm going to wrap up in a minute. So they have about 80 books. I just put the word language because I was looking at language AI, and it says, it is giving me all these interesting book, language in our brain. It's a lot of linguistic stuff. This is MIT Press, so it's not just language only, it's language and tech, a lot of language, linguistics, and, interesting books. So I just found this linguistics in the age of AI. I'm going to try and get this and see if I can read this before Wednesday when we meet at Weekly Wed. And then you can put any topic. It doesn't have to be this language stuff, right? The professor was looking at language, was interested, and showed us you could look at music and evolution, or general genomics, or information policy, or general software. And I don't know what is strong ideas. So anyway, there are 80 books under this category that MIT Press is making it freely accessible. So I hope you will find something that's interesting for you and valuable for you. So, and let me see if I've got anything else. I keep talking about the Senate hearing. So let me go find that. So this week, so if you remember, at the beginning of the year when we started, I think around April, I had started this live stream with you. And one of the things is there is a Bill of Rights for AI that the US Office of Science and Technology had proposed. So we talked about that as one of my very first live streams here. What is Bill of Rights for US? What is Bill of Rights for AI? And it's basically AI ethics policy, but very nicely done. And so this Wednesday we had a Senate hearing about that in the US Senate. I'm going to find AI Bill of Rights. I shared links of this in the newsletter. So if you want to go back to the newsletter, and you can take a look at that. Otherwise, if you just look for Bill of Rights, let me share this link. This is in early on, I think end of last year in October, they did like a roadshow. They visited Dr. Eric Lander had visited Stanford. That's when I shared that with you. And then follow up to that, I done a whole conversation around that with you. So it's very interesting, especially with facial recognition. There's a lot of good things that happens with AI, but there's also the bias hurts society. And when it hurts society, when the AI is wrong, it takes away your rights. If I'm tracked and it thinks I'm a criminal when I'm not, it is going to infringe on my rights and things like that, right? So that is what the Bill of Rights. So this, in a simplistic sense, having a right to know that I'm tracked, right to know what it is doing with my data, what, things like that. They came up with a Bill of Rights, and that was, discussed in the US Senate finally just this Wednesday. I have not caught up on the output of that, what happened. So I would like to go back and follow up on that. Meanwhile, there is a lot of discussion around that. There's a lot of writing around that. I don't know this person, but I saw this one on Forbes. They're not going to, they're going to show me an ad. I don't want to show that. Okay. There's a lot of ads. That's why I don't show the Forbes stuff. There's been some thought pieces. Is it time to agree on an AI Bill of Ethics by Anthony Lancaster? There's a bunch of people who have written about this in multiple places. I try not to show ads and other things that is not, because I try to be very unbiased towards any brand, not attached to any brand. I have opinions about every brand. So I'm not able to find one which is not going to show a lot of ads on you guys. So I'm not going to show you that. But you can Google AI Bill of Rights, and I will find you a good link to share at my newsletter. Okay, because I just want to show. We talked about AI Act for Europe. It just happened that the AI Bill of Rights came to the White House to to the Senate for a discussion. But I find that very commendable that to have that conversation, because the way they are going about this is not some policy people sitting somewhere and just putting it out there. This got shared on LinkedIn with a whole bunch of us signing on to it, saying we are supporting it either as individuals or organization. And it was amazing. We just were, there's so many groups and organizations across the country who wants this AI Bill of Rights to happen, and we are supporting it. And it was very beautiful to see how many people and groups were involved in that. It was unbelievable. And if you want to find this particular thing that I'm saying, that there was a signature that was from Merv Hickok. I've spoken about Merv Hickok. I'm aware AI ethicist. Her site is aiethicist.org. I'm a big fan of Merv's work, and she does a fantastic job of sharing the latest in the AI world, sharing her work very beautifully. Okay, I found the one from Merv's here. So here is Merv Hickok. I definitely recommend following her and her work. And I've shown this in many of our classes. If you're one of my students watching this, aiethicist.org, she maintains a site where she collates information related to all kinds of policy frameworks and AI ethics frameworks from every possible realm of the world. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. You cannot find anything that's out there that's not in Merv's site. And if you've missed something, you can ping her and she will add to it. She's on top of the game there, but she signs everything. So I believe Merv is on the board of CAIDP, which is an ethics non-profit organization. And this is Center for AI and Digital Policy. And they ended up saying, hey, we want to provide support for this OSTP Bill of Rights. And this is our Office of Science and Technology Policy for US, the AI Bill of Rights that I was talking to you about. So you could go there and sign in even today. So what we did is we all wrote a letter to Dr. Alondra Nelson, who's the Office of Science and Technology, spearheading this and saying, hey, this is good, we support it. The key things according to this is a nice summary that I was looking for, right? I said I didn't want to show you another site which was flashing ads on us. Outlined key elements of the AI Bill of Rights is your right to know when and how AI is influencing a decision that affects your civil rights and civil liberties. So if in a simplistic case, if I'm rejected for a bank account, yes, that is bad. But if it is making a decision, suppose AI is tracking me somewhere and they're doing facial recognition and say, is she a criminal? Yes, no. Even if they say she's not a criminal and I'm not a criminal, they have looked at my data and made a decision, and I need to know because it infringes on my civil liberties. Don't know whether they will say, hey, we watched this person walk the street 3 times before. Now she's a probable candidate to track for the 4th time. And AI could do that, right? So it's important to know that. Your freedom from being subjected to AI that hasn't been carefully audited to ensure that it's accurate, unbiased, and trained on sufficiently represented data set. This is almost every AI out there. Your freedom for pervasive and or discriminatory surveillance and monitoring in your home, community, and workplace. Again, all the devices are listening. And there's a lot more stuff that's happening in the workplace. Your right to meaningful recourse if the use of algorithm harms you. What happens if the algorithm harms you? I've been giving this example of this Uber driver who was not recognized, so the Uber fired him, and then that person came and sued Uber. Everybody is not going to have the mental capacity and money to go sue anybody for AI rejecting them for facial recognition. The AI harms you. What is your meaningful legal recourse? So the federal government could refuse to buy software or technology products from companies that respect these rights. Federal contractors could be required to use technologies that adhere to the Bill of Rights. New laws and regulations can be adopted. So the one thing that's happened in US is facial recognition technologies from Microsoft, IBM, and who am I missing? Amazon, which is incomplete, not ready, is harmful. The US government has said we will not buy products. We should not use that for any of the federal agencies. At least that ban is there, has been extended as of now. And I believe it started not last May, the previous May. And companies have the choice to develop and improve the technologies, come back and make a case, but it's not yet there. And Microsoft recently pulled out of their AI facial recognition API out there. And even if it impacted vendors like Uber, which was using theirs, saying, we are not ready, we will come back when we are ready. And that was very, very brave. I think a company which pulls back saying your AI is not ready, we need to retrain it is a leader in the space. It takes a lot more courage because internally companies are corporates making money and they have a lot of different stakeholders pushing and pulling on various ends. For them to have the courage to pull back and say, this is not ready. It's like a recall that they do, say, when you're driving a car and a set of cars are recalled for a failed part. It's the same concept, but a lot goes on internally. And that doesn't happen easily in the software world, in the tech world. So that was a huge step. And I believe when IBM, Microsoft, and Amazon facial recognition technology was banned, IBM shut down that division. Amazon said, we'll continue working on that research. Microsoft said, we'll work on it for 1 year. And then when the government says, okay, we'll come back. And then they said, we are not ready. But they have brilliant AI researchers working internally and they will improve it. And I'm sure they will all improve it. But to do that, knowing the harm they could create, to do that in an inclusive way, they're going to move the needle on this. So I'm very hopeful of that. Okay, one other, while I'm talking about this Bill of Rights, one of the things that jumped at me in my feed was from Ansgar Koini about virtual assistants listening to children. that was horrible. You think that virtual assistants, yes, they are there. Some people discuss about, I don't really care. It is not a big deal, but there is, let me give you that. So let me find Ansgar Koini. So this is Ansgar Koini, Global AI Ethics and Regulatory Leader in Ernst & Young. And they had shared a bunch of things. This is their global, this is a podcast that they're done on explainable AI. So there's a lot of interesting things. But specifically, there was this thing that was shared about how virtual assistants are listening to children and what is being done about that. So Ansgar Koini had shared on LinkedIn. So I will find that link also and share it with you at the Jamte newsletter, bit.ly/Jamte newsletter. So I'll see you back tomorrow. I will stream the weekly Wednesday that you missed out, and only the small group got to hear Pamela Gupta with discussion on cybersecurity and AI and identity with Marco Ross. So that's tomorrow morning, or morning for me, evening for you if you're in Nigeria or Europe. Then the newsletter will come out on Sunday with all the links that I'm shared here. And I will see you at Weekly Wed on Wednesday, where I'm going to be talking to you about language AI models and the Global South and AI call for paper. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. And I will see you online. Otherwise, I'll see you here next week. And for those of you who are coming back, watching this, if you say, oh, I missed this, you post a question, you send me a notification on LinkedIn. I'll come back and try and answer that. Or I will tag in the right people who can get you the answer. So hopefully I'll find answers together. And I have a bunch of other jobs that I'm going to share with you. There was a whole bunch of jobs. I think there was a lot of jobs that were shared by Rebecca Tweed. So if I close, let me show you Rebecca Tweed's profile also. She's a program director at All Tech is Human, which does amazing work too. So Rebecca had shared her responsible tech mentorship program. She shares jobs, so she came back and shared a bunch of jobs this time. She's somebody to follow, and I will link back to her jobs that she shared also, because there's a lot of other jobs, fellowships and professorships and stuff like that was in her list. Okay, so with that, let me wrap up. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, and I will see you online, and otherwise I will see you soon. Bye.